Apologies about that, everybody.
I'll get yelled at for that.
Sorry about that. Welcome here to Phillies Post Game Live, brought to you by Cura Auto Insurance. Amy Fadul with a microphone on, and Ricky Patalico. And guys, Ricky, when you think about it, we talked about, can this offense produce runs like we saw on Wednesday?
Yep.
The answer is yes, apparently. They did not struggle. They actually had a lot of action with ducks on the pond. That's something we have not seen lately. Hopefully it's a sign of good things to come.
Well, it is a really good sign. I think the bottom of the lineup is the good sign to me. 6 for 13, the last 4 hitters in the lineup. And that's one thing that I'm like pushing lately, because if those guys are going well, that just means those guys at the top of the order are getting more at-bats. 6 for 13, they had 5 runs scored, and then they had 4 RBIs. So to me, that's doing your job at the bottom of the lineup. They had some timely hits. I know at the end, people will say, well, a bunch of it came right there at the end of the game against some guy with an 80 ERA, which is partially true, but that also tells me they're not giving up at bats, that they're going down to the last outs. And I thought 5 for 10 with runners in scoring position, that's something that you got to strive for. I mean, that's something that you would love to see from the Phillies each and every day. But we now have a match game, and the reason why I say that is their last game that they played, they had 10 hits, 5 extra base hits.
Yeah.
Today, 10 hits, 5 extra base hits. So we're starting to figure things out. It was great to see Schwarber hit the ball like that, because we know this is his time of year, and his 22nd home run of the season. I mean, this guy's going to go 40 again.
It's incredible. It's funny, on the pregame show you actually mentioned, he said, isn't it June? Come on, Kyle Schwarber.
He was ready.
And he said, I got you, Ricky.
I got you. Yeah, Ranger was just too good in this game. You know, the one thing you could say about Ranger is that he's taking consistency to a new level. And this is a good thing for the Phillies. He goes out there, makes his pitches. He throws strikes. And you got to love, I made the comment about the 5th inning. Wow, you know, look at his tempo. Boom, boom, boom. And when he gets on a high-paced tempo, I just think it makes it tougher on the hitters. Because what he's doing is he's just going out there throwing strikes. They're running up there to get a bat, and all of a sudden it's a strike. They have to swing. They're out. I mean, and what that does, I think it takes away a little bit, you know, of an adrenaline rush from a hitter.
Yeah, because they can't really amp themselves up. Exactly. They have to be locked in, because Ranger's always locked in. We are going to hear from Rob Thomson coming up, so I'm sure he'll talk about Ranger and this offense. But we have to check out our Eye on the Mound, brought to you by PGW.
It's on this highlight of him going inside and what is going on. A lot of the hitters are bailing. You saw the left-handed hitters bailing on the inside pitches, and he's painting on the outside corner. When you look at Ranger Suarez, I think the one thing you would say is that he has pinpoint control when he's really good. Tonight, he was pinpoint. You didn't see one ball. I want you all at home to think about this. How many balls did you see in the middle of the plate?
It was all.
Rarely, if any.
Yeah, it was almost all on the corners. A 2.32 ERA, which is remarkable because you look at where he started.
He gave up a ton that first game.
That first inning, and everybody was all nervous, and Ricky said, no, it's just like spring training for him, and it was exactly what it was.
You could tell in that first game that he got to a certain pitch limit, and then he was done. So he wasn't stretched out enough to be thrown into a ball game. Now it's just Ranger.
It's Ranger. 7 straight quality starts. That matches a career high for him. So a great outing from Ranger and a great outing from the offense. We're going to hear from Rob Thomson. Topper has to be pleased with what he saw from his pitching and his offense. Let's check in with Rob Thomson now.
Yeah, he gets into these strings, you know, where he's pretty dominant. You know, he really can command the fastball, and he was doing that tonight. I mean, pinpoint control, a lot of strikes. All his stuff was good. Changeup had a lot of depth to it. Breaking ball had a lot of depth to it. He just keeps people off balance.
Do you find the way he's throwing better than, or at least comparable to the way he started last season?
I think comparable. Yeah, absolutely. Now we got to keep him there.
He's not a velocity guy, doesn't need velocity, but it has been down his last 3 starts. Now he's not really hitting 93 or 94
right.
anymore. Is that a concern when a guy like that is
No,
a dip?
no, because he can command the baseball and he commands all his pitches.
Just health-wise,
No, he's fine.
Last season, I think early there was talk, okay, he finally had a normal spring training, and maybe that was what led to success. And he doesn't have a normal spring training this year, and he still hasn't success. I mean, is this just what do you make of that?
Well, I mean, the first couple of starts was really spring training for him, or the end of spring training for him. So now he's kind of like where he was last year at the start of the season. So, now we have to keep him there.
What did you make of the night Trea out in the field?
Really, I mean, that one play was unbelievable. He really played well tonight. Kepler had a nice catch in left field. I thought it was a solid effort throughout on all sides of the ball. Our bats were really good. We put a lot of pitches on Gosman early. 4 doubles, home run. Kepler looks like he's starting to swing the bat. JT's having good at bats. Kemp is having good at bats. Marsh. So the bottom of the lineup did a lot of good things tonight. Well, we had him up, and it was, what was it, 5-0 or 6-0, and so since he was hot, we just stayed with him. Yeah. Yeah, and maybe there's a little bit more in there. I don't know, but it certainly ticked up tonight, and his stuff was good.
You said you have to keep Ranger where he's at now. What are the things you can do to keep him at this level going forward?
Yeah, well, I think, last year there were times when, would he end up with 94 pitches or something like that? 94. There'd be times when I'd send him back out in the 8th just to pitch to Jimenez, who was leading the inning off, a left-hander. And, that's a little more wear and tear. Maybe we just got to be a little bit smarter about that. Now, there are going to be times when, because we don't have a full bullpen and not rested, that I'm going to have to send him out for a situation like that. But tonight it was good, and maybe that helps him.
And that's always a good sign because what usually comes with that is a little bit more better power numbers.
I mean, because we know what his power numbers were down at the minor league level, and they were some of the
best. He's hitting the
best.
ball out of the park a lot.
Yeah, he was some of the best with RBI and home runs at the minor league level. So it's hopefully something we're going to see more of the major league level.
We'll see what happens.
Hopefully on that front. Let's check in with Ranger Suarez after his great outing.
What do you think is like some of the keys to kind of maintaining this over the course of the rest of the season?
Habiendo tenido una primera mitad tan buena el año pasado, ¿cuáles tú crees que son las claves para poder mantener la misma forma durante el resto de la temporada?
Yo, primero que nada, estar sano. Yo creo que estando sano sé lo que soy capaz de hacer cosas buenas y nada, seguir trabajando para preparándome para cada salida que lance.
I think primarily it's being healthy. I know what I'm capable of when I'm healthy. I know I'm capable of doing great things, and besides that, it's just getting ready and preparing for every single start that we have.
How satisfying is to get off to a start like this after not having a regular spring training, beginning of the year injured, and kind of being able to put a run like this together?
¿Qué tan bueno es salir una salida como la de hoy, tan buena?
No.
Luego de no tener spring training, empezar lesionado.
No, yo creo que es olvidar lo que pasó. Yo creo que es olvidar la lección, enfocarme en donde estoy, que salida tras salida. Yo creo que pensar más en donde estoy ahora que lo que fue.
I think it's just forgetting about all of that, right? It's forgetting about the injury and what happened. It's just focusing on where I'm at now, focusing to start, and just being mindful of where we're at and thinking about the moment.
Yes, it does, and that really broke it open, and the game was pretty much in hand after that with the way Ranger was pitching.
Yeah, the game was fine. Ranger just had one of those games where he was in complete control, complete control of his strike zone, complete control of the corners, and really in complete control of his sinker, his changeup, and his cutter. His cutter was really good tonight, and that was also a pitch that he's been relying on a lot more this year than just the changeup. So his off speed kind of has gone from slider changeup to now cutter changeup, which is a little bit quicker type slider.
Well, and like you said, his rhythm and his pace was really working for him.
He was on
tonight.
point.
Yeah, he was. That is a good point. He is an excellent,
Yep.
excellent slider in that one, and that was a great premier play. Let's hear from Trea Turner now.
Kind of a different offense when the bottom of the order is getting on base as much as it has the last couple of days.
Yeah, that was kind of my first thought. I was thinking about that later in the game today. Is just the at-bats by everyone were really good, turning the lineup over. Otto, Marshy, Stoddard, everybody had some good at-bats today, and it makes a big difference.
Ranger, I mean, just pitching like he has during this stretch. What's it like being behind him?
Yeah, he's great. Just throwing his strikes. Somebody gets on, he gets that double play ball. Seems like every single time. A lot of weak contact, and Just vintage Ranger.
He's not like overpowering, but what makes him difficult to face?
It's just sneaky. It's all about deception. It's not really necessarily velo anymore. Obviously that helps, but just guys that are deceptive, multiple pitches, different arm angle, and he's tough on righties and lefties, which makes a big deal. And changes speeds, throws anything any count. So just a real true pitcher.
But when you have so much velocity in the game, like you guys do today, when you have a pitcher who maybe doesn't throw as hard but has that kind of pinpoint control, does it make it that much harder?
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to describe, but there's some guys that could throw 100 and you see the ball good, and there's some guys that throw 90 and you don't see the ball well, and it's when you're watching on TV, you're like, it doesn't make sense. But he's just one of those guys where everything looks the same out of his hand, and it takes a little longer to pick things up, and by the time you make your decision, it's a little too late. So it's not always velo. It's more so, like you're saying, control, deception, pitch mix, and I think that's where he can separate himself.
Trey, we talk about getting locked in at the plate. The same thing applied defensively, and you make a play like you made early tonight, and then do more throughout the night. Do you feel that defensively right now?
Yeah, I mean, I felt like I said, I think the last time we talked about defense, I feel good. I feel like I've played good for all year for the most part. Obviously, there's a couple errors that are going to happen here and there, and you try to limit those as much as possible. But as far as defense for the season, I feel like it's been really good, and just trying to continue doing what I'm doing and see where it ends up at the end of the year.